Customs like these that we just built are something so many people ask whether or not they should try to build on their own. Now, to answer this, there's really only two questions you need to ask yourself. First is, do you have the patience to learn every single detail inside a complex mechanical system, and then also adapt when parts inevitably fail and don't fit? Second is, why do you want a custom? Is it to tinker and build something with your own hands, or is it to get something awesome and flawless right out of the box? Now, while I fully believe that you should always try tinkering with the airsoft guns at some point, it's not for everyone, especially when there's a lot of money on the line. Customs like these that we just built are something so many people ask.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna try and guess all the different characters on my roster based on.
Welcome to the stream.
Okay, the first one. Yeah, that looks like.
Look at the girl.
People think that I'm really intense, but it couldn't be farther from. What the? Wait,
I can't stay myself. That would be an. Okay.
How do we get close enough for Oscar to witness this miraculous lesion?
They gotta get close to Oscar?
Heard it from a friend.
Oscar is a savage if you saw that from last video.
The internet was poor, but who lends somebody air?
Oh,
Him, my
you didn't have to say that.
To give him his ability cloak. Watch.
Ooh,
Gone.
gone.
Don't engage.
Don't engage. He got jealous. Oh, not the greatest.
Don't take your
They can still see you.
Good thing I have a fetish.
Oh, look at Chucky and the wife.
I like to pick on
The bride. Oh, not the face. Not the face.
Yeah, you and all the other Cabbage Patch Kids.
Oh, caught him a Cabbage Patch Kid. The Riddler?
If a cane falls in an arena, no one's around to see it. Does it really?
Is that how his ankle got scratched? The Riddler? Oh no, they found him! Oh, now we're going back in time?
And it's lucky you can see. What
I'm so confused.
sent you back to the past?
Yeah, I know you did send us back to the past, but we're back.
We're back. Oh, Chucky just got shot down in the background, by the way.
Elementary, my dear.
Oh, man! An actual ant! You can beat him, Doctor... Nope, you can't beat him. We got the wizard? Not the Picasso spell. Made art out of him. The truth rope? The stronger people trying to hold him. Where's the gold?
Don't you mean Dr. Manfattan?
Dr. Manfattan?
That's the most horrific thing I've ever seen.
John,
No
you can't
way.
beat your pain.
Destroy the warriors.
Oh. What is that? Where have those been this whole time? That is not good for anybody that is on our side right now.
Owned him forever.
Oscar's gonna destroy him.
Stolen by that Sphinx cat on
Oh, Spider-Man, nice in the background. Hey, he's still alive. I saw that.
John Wick.
Killed them. I killed them all.
Joker just dropped him down in the background, if you saw that. Bro, you need gold. You know how this works.
Be regenerated.
If he dies, they can't be regenerated.
You die for good.
Ooh, so it's real life.
I am telling the truth.
We would rather die free than live forever as
Right.
puppets.
Absolutely.
Don't make
Man, an actual ant. The size of one at least. I'm sure most of you out there by now have seen the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. It was a great movie where we finally got to see the battle between Godzilla vs. Kong, but today we are going to be diving into the analytics and seeing if Godzilla should have won, or if Kong should have won. The video I'm talking about is by Goshi Center. I'll throw him up on the screen right now so you can see him. And it is the in-depth analysis of this battle, guys. This was before the battle, by the way.
Kong go head to
See,
head.
it said what would happen.
In this video, we will go down to the hard stats and compare these two monsters to have a better idea of who has a higher chance of being the ultimate winner.
So we know
will
who
explore
won, right?
Intelligence,
We know
strength,
Godzilla won.
agility, psychology, and much more that could determine the outcome of this epic battle.
But everything
so
you just
make sure to
named
stick with us to the
didn't
very
make
end
sense that
as
he
we
won.
put Godzilla and Kong to the test to determine who could be the next king of the monsters.
Let's see, who should have really won? Let's do an
Intelligence.
analysis here. Intelligence.
This
They're both
is a
pretty
sensitive
smart.
topic.
Both of them are pretty
Godzilla
smart.
and Kong have both given us evidence of higher than normal levels of intelligence,
Very
at
true.
least when compared to other extant creatures. There are some clues that we can gather to determine who has the edge when it comes to battle intelligence.
I mean,
Over
Kong
the
can
course
do
of
hand,
many
you know,
years,
the hand
Godzilla has
signs and
acquired
stuff.
enough battle experience to effectively counter any incoming attack with its well-defined arsenal of weapons.
He does have some
This
nice
is
defense.
thanks to Godzilla's advanced capability of picking up on enemy attack patterns. In 2014, we see that after being flanked many times by the male Muto,
He still takes him
Godzilla
out.
uses a tail swipe maneuver against it, sending him crashing into a building.
My
In
boy's smart with it.
2019, we see that Godzilla
Intelligence.
figured out how to more effectively fight Ghidorah and determine the appropriate time and place to attack. While not having exactly as
Kong,
much
though.
experience as Godzilla,
Come on
Kong
now, he's
displays
smart.
a different type of intelligence. In the natural world, we see that animals
He can
that
use
make
sign
the use
language.
of tools are normally creatures with higher brain-to-body ratios.
He can use
Similarly,
tools.
Kong uses both terrain and tools to accomplish complex tasks.
My boy's nice
While
with
you
it.
could argue that Godzilla
At Domino's, we're tipping you $3 for being a carry-out hero to use on next week's online carry-out order.
Nice
While
with
you
it.
could argue that Godzilla doesn't necessarily need to use tools, it does
That's
take
true.
some amount of intelligence to learn to effectively use handheld weaponry.
Godzilla has never needed
If
to
we
use
place
one.
both Godzilla's and Kong's skulls side by side, we could probably get a better idea of their levels of intelligence.
I think
We
Kong
see
has a
that
bigger
according
brain.
to how their skulls are shaped, the brain-to-body size ratio seems to significantly favor Kong. And since
he's
brain-to-body
big-brained.
ratio is a relatively fair indicator of intelligence, it's safe to say that Kong has a slight Godzilla, at least in overall intelligence.
Okay.
But in the battlefield,
Kong's smarter.
Godzilla has an advantage over Kong in
That's a
combat
fact.
tactics.
Especially the atomic
Therefore,
breath. He
in
can
this
hit him from
category,
distance.
both Godzilla and Kong come equal in battlefield critical thinking and intelligence.
I don't mind that. They're equal on the intelligence field. What about the next one?
Intimidation.
Intimidation. I mean, they're both very intimidating. I don't know. What do you all think? Who's the more intimidating? Intimidation display. That's very
This scene
intimidating.
gives us a better idea of how Godzilla uses its dorsal plates to act as an intimidation display to other titans.
100%.
This display is usually followed by an extremely loud roar that could shatter smaller creatures.
Kong does the
Now,
same
in
thing,
this
though,
round,
without
we
the
will
dorsal
also
plates,
take
obviously.
into account the fact that Godzilla has never taken a step backward when faced with an opponent.
He hasn't. He
Even
goes
after
straight
losing
forward.
a fight, Godzilla will always fall back to battle position.
100%.
A creature acting like this will inflict morale shocks to even the strongest of titans. In
They'll
the
be like,
real
"Dang,
world,
you're just gonna
gorillas
keep going?"
use chest pounding as an act of intimidation towards other hostile creatures.
Just like Kong.
Similarly, Kong would use this same method to try to intimidate any other titans, including Godzilla.
That roar,
But
though.
taking into account that Godzilla has faced more intimidating displays in
Yeah,
the past,
Ghidorah
it
is
very
very
likely that
intimidating.
some mere chest pounding won't make Godzilla think twice before attacking.
That wing spread, man.
Even
He's
though both
ginormous.
titans are intimidating, Godzilla takes the edge for being less likely to be fearful of the opponent while displaying slightly more intimidating behavior himself.
I mean, yeah, I would say so. That's not bad. He can take the intimidation.
Aggressiveness.
Aggressiveness.
By looking at the
I think
footage
Kong
of how
is more
Godzilla
aggressive, right?
kills its opponents, it's evident that Godzilla was hardwired to display raw brutality.
Maybe not
These
the kiss of death.
execution-style
Okay.
finishers could
I get
imply that Godzilla used these deceased titans as an example to other titans who dared
Actually,
challenge
yeah.
his status as king.
He is more brutal, isn't he?
Godzilla's style of combat is to inflict, but also be able to soak in tremendous amounts of damage.
What about when
This
Kong
style
ripped
of fighting
ripped
can be
apart the
compared to a
skull crawler?
berserker, an ancient and extremely violent warrior class known for inflicting huge morale shocks to opposing troops while being able to withstand tons of damage himself.
It makes sense.
While Godzilla's combat style is synonymous with brute force, Kong seems to take a more strategic approach to combat. When seeing how
He
Kong
does.
took on Romeric in 1973, we can conclude that Kong fights with more finesse, unlike Godzilla, who would grab and break the closest body part to him.
Okay, that makes a lot of
Aggressiveness
sense.
is also a psychological factor that would
So
impact
aggressiveness,
morale.
I'd give it
And
to
given
Godzilla.
that Kong does not fight with the aggressive approach as his opponent, Godzilla takes
Kong
the
fights
edge on
smarter.
aggressiveness in this round. A more controlled approach to combat, however, might give Kong the edge in another category.
That's true. Strategic fights, maybe.
Bite effectiveness.
Bite effectiveness.
No
That's gotta
Titan
be
anatomy
Godzilla.
is complete without a menacing jaw full of teeth.
Maybe,
In
right?
this case, however, we are determining who has the most effective bite against the opposing Titan.
I mean, Kong's
Bite
got a
force
nice
is
bite, too.
typically influenced by the geometry of the skull and size of the jaw closing muscles.
Oh, see, I didn't know all that.
By taking a look at the relative size and skull geometry, it is likely that the
Godzilla.
muscular and square shape of Godzilla's skull could inflict a stronger bite than Kong's.
Yep.
But Kong's bite force should not be underestimated.
Oh, yeah, it's
Gorillas
still
have one
mighty
of the
strong.
strongest bite forces in the animal kingdom, with some specimens capable of reaching 1,300 pounds per square inch.
1,300
Just because
pounds?
one Titan has the stronger bite does not mean that it's the most effective.
Oh, that's a
Kong
fact.
has canine teeth that appear to be much longer than any of Godzilla's teeth.
Yeah, those things are
This means
ginormous.
that even if Kong has a slightly weaker bite, its force will be concentrated in the smaller surface area at the tip of his sharp canines,
So
which
Kong
makes
gets
him more
the edge a
likely
little
to be
bit,
able
right?
to pierce an opponent's hide with ease. Although Godzilla has a stronger bite, Kong levels the stats with more bite pressure coming from his canines. Therefore, for this round, both Godzilla and Kong stand equal in bite effectiveness.
Give Kong a round, man. Just give
Arm
Kong
strength.
one.
Both
Arm
Godzilla
strength.
and Kong have
That's
different
for
fighting
Kong.
styles, which are aided by
100%.
different parts of their corporal build.
Godzilla's
The
little
use
arms,
of
no
forearms
shot.
can vary between the Titans. Godzilla's arms are used to block, parry, and even hold an opponent in place while he uses its strong jaws as a main weapon.
That's true, but
These
Kong be
arms were
tossing
even
people.
used to stop a 141,000-ton Titan dead on its tracks. Although small in comparison to its body, these arms are by no means useless.
That's true.
Kong, on the other hand, uses them as its main weapon of choice.
Exactly.
As discussed earlier, Kong fights with more finesse than its opponent.
Let's go.
Similar to a wrestler, Kong uses his arms to hold back an oncoming attacker and for
the
destructive
wrestler.
punches. In the real world, gorillas are pound for pound the 4th strongest animal in the world.
That man
capable
broke the
of
glass.
carrying up to 10 times their
I'd
own
be getting
body
up out of
weight.
there.
This is due to the massive amounts of muscle concentrations in the upper torso and arms. Knowing this, it's likely that Kong could be able to lift Godzilla while being only a fraction of his
Didn't he
opponent's
lift him in the
weight.
movie?
So who has the strongest arm strength?
It's definitely
if we
Kong.
compare both arms side to side, we see that Kong's arms are significantly larger than
Yeah,
Godzilla's.
arms are massive.
And by applying our recently acquired knowledge about gorillas, Kong takes the edge when it comes to superior arm strength in this battle.
All right, so Kong finally got him a
Battle
victory in one of them.
dexterity. We are now about to discuss
Battle
one of the
dexterity?
most underestimated attributes that you can have in battle.
I don't even know what it is.
This attribute is dexterity. Before we begin this section, take a moment to appreciate that you, a human being, are the only specimen on Earth that can effectively throw something, aim, and hit the target.
That's true.
Maybe.
Well, what about the
Godzilla,
orangutans? They
although
do.
we have seen
they
that
be
he does
fishing
use
like
his
that.
hands for combat,
So that's
he
not
does
true.
not necessarily use them to throw things. Apart from understanding how to use local objects as weapons, Kong seems to be able to wield objects with outstanding precision. No other Titan in the MonsterVerse has been seen
he's a
spearing
savage.
a moving target with a palm tree or using a propeller as a ball and chain.
Yeah, now they don't
This
be
is
doing it with
without
like
mentioning
palm
the fact
trees,
that Kong
but
can even craft his own weapons.
I'm pretty sure
It's
chimps
imperative
use
to note that
stuff
these
like
are
that to
supposed
fish.
to be exclusively human abilities, but for some unknown reason can be found within the Kong species.
He was
In
beating
the
down
coming
that
battle,
skullcrawler.
Kong holds the edge for battle dexterity, an ability that is hard to master even for most humans.
He's got 2 victories. Let's go.
Leg strength. We are
Leg
now moving
strength.
down to the source of stability.
I'd say
By
Godzilla.
looking closely
I'd
at
say
images of
Godzilla.
Godzilla, we see that his legs are built to withstand an enormous amount of weight. In the graphic novel Godzilla Aftershock, we see that Godzilla was able to carry Titanus Jinshinmushi on his back.
And that's
a
heavy.
Titan that weighed 50% more than Godzilla.
50%
Apart
more.
from being able to carry thousands of additional tons in weight, these legs can inflict lethal amounts of pressure on a victim.
Yeah, they can.
If Kong finds himself unlucky enough to be under Godzilla's foot,
They can
he
just
will
break
most
him.
likely suffer the same fate as Titanus Jinshinmushi and Ghidorah, who were both literally stomped by Godzilla. Kong, on the other hand, might not have had the same damaging power as Godzilla, but his legs could still carry almost the same weight.
Yeah, I mean,
Remember
he's got
that
a
this
jump, you know what
Titan
I'm
will
saying?
most
He be
likely- In conclusion, although
It's
both
Godzilla,
these
man.
Titans
It's
can
Godzilla.
carry massive amounts of weight, Godzilla
look at that
uses
leg
them as
size.
a weapon and lethal opponent.
Nah, that's got to be
Godzilla's
Kong.
amounts of force.
Yep, he can charge.
This amount of charge at an opposing Titan with tremendous amounts of force.
Yep, he can charge.
Opponent.
Nah, that's got to be
Godzilla's
Kong.
massive size allows him to charge at an opposing Titan with tremendous amounts of force.
Yep, he can charge.
This amount of impact force, however, comes
But he's
at
not
a price.
jumping off
A
of walls
massive
and
Titan
stuff.
such as Godzilla relies on a massive
Yeah,
tail
look at him. He's
to
on
act
top
as
of a building.
counterweight when changing directions. If an opponent
That's a big boy,
because
though.
Kong is most likely lighter than Godzilla, he does not require a tail to aid in In this round, the edge goes to Kong for being built to be more agile than
It's
his bulky
tied up right
opponent,
now,
Godzilla.
guys.
But
We know
is
who
Kong
wins the fight, but,
faster?
you know, this is cool to see.
Speed. The film
Speed?
Godzilla King of the Monsters provides us with a perfect shot of Godzilla's top speed on land. By
Okay, let's see the
analyzing
top
this
speed.
footage, we see that Godzilla can run to speeds of up to 350 miles per hour.
Okay,
How
I
does
didn't
this
know all that.
compare to Kong?
I feel
We
like
do know
Kong
that
wins
Kong
that, though.
is
Kong is
significantly
fast.
more agile than Godzilla on land because of its presumed lower weight. Given
Let's
that
see.
this creature has a more human-like build, we can assume that it's possible that Kong might reach higher running speeds than Godzilla, at
100%.
least on land. But let's not forget that Godzilla can also swim.
That's true.
The fact that Godzilla can move faster than Kong on water evens out Godzilla's slight disadvantage on
Yeah, so
land,
it's a tie for
making
sure.
this another draw in battle attributes.
Okay.
The next question to come to mind,
They match
however,
up in a lot of
is
stuff.
could terrain work in favor of any of these Titans?
Definitely. We saw that battle in the water and on
Terrain
land.
compatibility.
Godzilla kind of
In
won them
the
both, but it was a good fight.
Godzilla vs. Kong
It was a good
film,
fight.
We will see these Titans battle in many different types of terrain. So far, it has been confirmed that Kong is acquainted with two totally different biomes, Skull Island and the Hollow Earth.
Yep, that's
Skull
true.
Island is
where
full
he
of
got the
rocky
axe.
structures and mountains that are just as tall as modern buildings. So it is possible that these natural structures could benefit him when facing Godzilla in an urban location.
I mean, it did a little bit when he got the axe,
Godzilla,
but
on the other hand,
Godzilla
has
just
fought
dominated,
other
man.
titans in all types of settings,
It was a
such
good
as
battle,
glaciers,
like I said.
cityscapes, and even oceans. And by knowing its superior fighting capability undersea, it is likely that Godzilla will exploit this watery arena and
he
use
did.
it against Kong.
He almost drowned him if it weren't for those
Because
bombs.
he has experience fighting in more diverse settings, including under the ocean, Godzilla takes the edge when it comes to terrain compatibility.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We are now
100%.
getting to the interesting part.
The interesting part. Is this the last one? We
Special
got two
abilities.
More. Special
In the
abilities goes to
Monsterverse, a
Godzilla.
special ability can be defined as a biological attribute or
I mean,
weapon
he's got
that gives
the
a Titan
atomic
a
breath.
significant edge over an opponent. Which Titan has the most widely known special ability?
Godzilla.
That's right, Godzilla. His
Atomic
breath is a radioactive mixture of explosive superheated death, which he uses to knock
Superheated
back
death.
other Titans while inflicting serious damage. Apart from his atomic breath, Godzilla also possesses a
The kiss
last
of
resort
death.
ability known as a nuclear pulse. In the,
The
2019
nuclear pulse,
film,
though.
we see that Godzilla reached its thermonuclear state thanks to Mothra's sacrifice.
That's dangerous,
but the
man.
pulse itself was not totally dependent on Mothra. How? If we look back at Godzilla Aftershock, we see that Godzilla used